So welcome back. This is Reggie speaking about healing America's narratives. Again, the subtitle of that book is The Feminine, the Masculine, and Our Collective National Shadow. In the last episode, we spoke briefly about ignorance, which is arguably the foundational element of our national shadow. I say arguably because once all of the shadow elements are in play, they feed on each other, and it's hard to say that a specific moment of shadow came just from ignorance. But in many ways, not knowing is the source of much of our arrogance, our bigotry, even our violence and our greed. So again, last time we spoke about ignorance being the perfect place from which to learn, but we tend to get overwhelmed in the information superhighway because there's so much out there and much of it is not curated or processed. So we get information from various sources that aren't necessarily reliable. Some are deliberately unreliable. So what do we do with this? How do we navigate our own ignorance? So one approach, and this is a really difficult approach, but it's something that really can help, is wherever you tend to get your information from, your news about current events, let's say, and if that has led you to think that there are people on the planet you disagree with, which we all have that, go to the sources which you feel are the opposing sources. So just as an example, if you get your news from MSNBC, I'm going to use stereotypes here, go listen to, Fox News for a while. Take a day of each week or a week out of every month and just listen to these other viewpoints. And be careful about the difference between news reporting and what I like to refer to as professional performance news commentary or celebrities. There are certain people, the most famous people on any broadcast medium, comment on the news, they don't report it. They kind of make believe they're reporting it, but they're not journalists. And if they ever were, they no longer are. And they're paid to skew what they say in a certain direction. And they get paid very well to do that. So visit the sites that you think the enemy lives on or lives in, and listen to what they have to say and get curious about why someone would have that specific perspective. Again, if you typically go to Fox, go to MSNBC, all right? And vice versa. There are other sources out there. And try to discern the difference between, we're going to say, signal and noise. Signal is the actual meaning. There's something that has some value. And noise is all this other gibberish that gets shared. Try to get to the essence of what someone is saying and separate that out from the noise. So separate signal from noise and see what comes up. Get curious about why someone would believe things the way this person, your alleged opponent, believes. And compare and contrast it with what and how you believe. And see what happens there. That can be very uncomfortable, but it's worth doing, because in your place of ignorance, and we all are ignorant in the larger scheme of what's possible to know about our universal existential existence, basically, just stay curious and stay open and see what happens. All right, so thank you for listening. Again, we're connecting the dots with those 9 elements of shadow and taking a slightly deeper dive into ignorance today. All right, thanks again for tuning in. See you the next time.